Hey, hey, hey. Hey, everybody.
Howdy, howdy.
Welcome. Hello. Welcome to a brand new episode of Thanks
Thanks
Nothing.
for
I'm
that.
I swear it is. I give so much of a leeway. I'm like, not just you, Diana, too. It's all good. I love it. Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. If you are watching live with us, say hello and let us know how great you feel today. I am here with the dapper, with the elegant, with the amazing, with the sexy, with the gorgeous Rich Oseguera. Say hello, Rich.
Hey, bom dia, well, actually, it's boa tarde. It's after. It's almost evening, which would be boa noite here in old Portugal way.
Bona notte. Hello, Samantha. My mama. What is up, mama?
She didn't get enough of you over the weekend.
She didn't. She didn't. I didn't either. I woke up this morning actually missing her. So,
Uh,
hi, Mom. And hello to Margaret. Great to see you all here today.
and Samantha.
Yes. Yes.
Samantha
So
Laxton.
today you might have noticed that we have, I'm like already like sprawled out here. Today you might have noticed that we call today's show Unplugged. And that was really just a cover because we don't have a topic.
Truth be told.
Truth be told, I have been away out of town, as you know, or some people may or may not know, for the last week, visiting family, which I haven't seen in a few years. So that was really exciting. But honestly, I don't know. I'm going to speak for myself. You may be able to speak for yourself. I might give you permission to speak for yourself.
Well, thank you.
But yes, I've done a lot of, I like to have a little hands in everything and know how things are going to go. And so when Rich said, hey, let's do this unplugged, not only did we just not have a topic, but I thought that it would be super fun to be able to just show up here today and see what unfolds, because really in life, as we know, right, we never know what's going to happen anyway. It's all improv, right? So here we are.
Here we are.
I'm going to let you. I realize I've been yapping the most here, so I just kind of did a leeway.
You are the anchor. You are the core host here. So.
All right. Well, in that case, so my name is Shari Lease, and I am the dapper. I am the sexy. I am the.
Exactly. So yeah, so I love the unplugged thing too, because it isn't, well, why I like it is we often spend a lot of time trying to figure out what the topic should be and exactly how to articulate it and get it just right. And what was fun about this is we were just like, oh, well, and that's really what this show's about, right? Thanks for nothing. It's meant to just be like, the whole way that you put this show together originally was you pulled it out of the air and just did it without a whole lot of pre-planning. So I love this topic of no topic. It's like the Seinfeld show.
No topic. But don't leave us just yet, though, because I don't want to toot our horns, toot, but it's going to be brilliant. So stick around, because there will absolutely be something that you are going to gain from this. There will be absolutely something that's going to resonate with your heart. I know it, because this is all universal, right? And we're all kind of just traversing. I love that word. For me, pray, love. Well, they didn't create it there, but it was grew to love it. But there will always we all crisscross paths, and so a universal lesson for us all, right?
Yeah. Well, I have something I'd like to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a starting point.
What up, D?
What up, D? So, I'm living here in Portugal, and there's a lot of things to get it used to and to set up, when it's very different than life in the United States in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm loving the process. But what I found towards really through last week was there were so many things that I was like trying to figure out and trying to have happen. And I started to get very tight and bunched up and not really in who I am, being like flow is one of my core words, right?
Mm-hmm.
And adventure and prosperity. And what was happening was I was starting to really not be in those because there was so much efforting, just like we let go of trying to figure out the perfect title and perfect theme for this week. So when Friday came along, I said, that's it. I'm just letting all of that go. And I'm just going to I am just going to do nothing. Thanks for nothing.
Thanks for nothing.
And just let it all sort out, because I know already that any of the things that I need are already here for me. They're already done. So I just let go of all that efforting. And this week has been very different as I just gave myself that space to just allow all the pieces to come into play. Things have really started to pop again. And so I think that's the thing for anyone who's watching. If when you find yourself trying, all the efforting and trying to make things happen, trying to get things done, trying to get it right for all these made up reasons that you have, you can use that same energy, that same space, mental space, to just see it all done, to see it all already have happened. One of the things I'm really playing a lot with right now is tapping into the future of my timeline. There's been a lot of focus on the past, but what about the future versions of me that already exist, who've already got all these things figured out? So I'm really tapping into the energy of that, it already happened. So remind me of how that happened, because I know it's already done. And that's a fun thing.
It is fun because you get to tap into and ask almost like your future self and be like, all right, well, what choices did you make? What did you do to get where you are today? And I think that we all, well, not I think, I know that we all have access to that. It's just the awareness that we do, right? Like, as you know, we can get very stuck in, or people can feel like they're stuck in that same thing again and again, and it's almost like that hamster wheel and you can't seem to get off of it. And so knowing, as you said, that there is that future self, like being like, hey, let me know, like what's the map to get over there, right?
Yeah. And that, so that, I mean, that right there is a probably not something talked about too much in general in the world. But like you said, we all have access to that. We all have access to, there's there's infinite versions of us and many versions exist of me that already have done all these things that this version of me is working towards. So why spend the rest of this lifetime hoping, wishing, praying that at some point I'll get there, when if I know that there's a version of me that's already done all these things, hopping, into collapsing into that other timeline, And so of course this is all the quantum thingy stuff that we love to talk about here.
I just want to quickly welcome everybody that's watching from different areas. I just saw Cindy popped up and Martin popped up. If you're watching on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, we are so happy to have you here today. We are going totally unplugged, in case all the outlets everywhere didn't give that clue.
I love that graphic.
Thank you. I put it together this morning. Totally unplugged. So we're talking today about being unplugged and honestly, like what it really means. Like, so for Rich and I, when we created this show today, it was about like, let's see what unfolds, what comes out, because it could be about anything. And for both, well, again, I'll just speak for me, like very planned, very this, very that, and just the letting go and the releasing and the trusting and the surrendering that, everything comes when we need it in this moment at this time. Samantha says, life is never planned. Technically, we improve most of our lives. I would say that, no, I'm just thinking about this improvement, because is there anything to be improved, or are we just living our best every single moment as is, and there is no right and there is no wrong, that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, actually, I had a conversation about that word. It might be not
improv. That's funny. She meant improv, not improve.
Okay. Good. I'm
Yes.
not going to talk about what I was just going to say. Thank you for clarifying that. That's more fun.
It is.
Yes, and
yes, and Samantha actually just started doing stand-up comedy herself. Just started, so we've been kind of connecting on that, which is really cool.
Very cool.
Yes, I'd like to, if I may, if I will, I don't know what's going on. So this whole unplugging thing, I had this idea, Rich, that I imagined when we talked about unplugging and I saw that plugging, I saw all of us people, humans, as like robots, just going about doing and not even realizing that we are in this game, in this whatever this is, right? This matrix and this idea of unplugging for me really was like unplugging from our programming, from what so many believe is expected of us, how we're supposed to show up, what are the things we're supposed to do, and who we're supposed to be, and what we're supposed to say. And so, what would that look like for you? And so, I would love for those who are tuning in right now, if you, and you could just share now or a little bit later, think about it when you imagine yourself being unplugged and not following the programming, what would that look like? What is that thing that you would do or change, or would you? Are you living a life that feels truly plugged in to your truth and your, your soul, your connection? Are you plugged in, or are you plugged into a version of you that maybe you didn't even realize that's expected?
Wow, we got deep real fast.
Well, last week I was doing stand-up comedy. I'm a woman of many, many, many versions of myself.
Many versions, exactly.
Many layers.
Well, that's a great thing. I mean, and that makes me think about, the thing I like to talk about, the bubbles of existence. But the part that you just said that caught my attention the most, and for everyone to think about here, is if you, me, you are the creator of your existence, right? When you believe, not you, Shari, I'm just the greater you, right? Universal you. When I'm gonna change from yous to I's. So when I really embraced that, not just intellectually, but like living it, then that meant that the world as it shows up around me and for me is all my doing. And if I don't like how that's looking, then I'm the one who gets to change it, instead of waiting around for someone else, the right president or the right leader, the right whatever, who's going to solve all the problems, right? That's giving up when I'm in that mode, then I'm giving up my own sovereignty. I'm giving up my own power as the creator of my bubble of existence. And you can't be in both places. Either you are the creator, or you are, as you were kind of saying right now, Shari, you're in someone else's design for you. And you're basically kind of just a cast member in someone else's play, someone else's show, right? But if you will allow yourself to believe that you are the director, the producer, the executive producer of your own movie, and you're writing all the scripts, which means writing out characters, writing in characters, everything about it, right? Where the locations, the costumes, the music, what's happening off set. When you are that person and really living your life that way, then things are very different. And when things are not showing up as you would wish them to, then you get to alter the script, right? And those are very different ways to live. And you and I have been living that way, right? Really being the creators of our own world and of our bubbles of existence. And I don't know, for you, Shari, how is this compared to how it used to be? If you can even remember, because we don't even know those people anymore.
Yeah, I feel like I've always lived this way. I feel like
good answer.
I feel like I've always been amazing. I feel like I'm always
Yeah.
no. Yeah, conscious, like, but consciously. So we just recently had this conversation, me, you, and Denise, and just really about taking risks and going all in and doing the things that scare you. And what I realized is that, and my friend just recently showed up in my inbox, seeing my stand-up comedy from last week or the week before or whatever, and was like, wow, and like left this message and said, wow, Shari, he was like, I love how you just keep showing up in like different forms and you keep trying new things and you keep, and like, and I really, from, you know, TEDx to stand up to acting to coaching to all these things. And an older version of me would have been like, I'm really confused and lack clarity and I don't know what direction I'm going. And what I really know in my heart is that it's all been parts of me. It's all been ways to express myself and all just depending on this journey. And so, you know, as this conscious, like, I feel like as a conscious creator, that what has changed for me is that I always went all in, but I wasn't always awake and aware enough to see what was coming back or what was showing up. It was almost like missing the mark a little bit, like looking at, like doing something and then turning my back to whatever shows up to continue whatever I've created. You know, I was like, no, that didn't work, or no, you know, I don't know if that really expresses what I'm trying to say, but like now I'm like now I see it all, and watching the signs and the clues and just having fun and really engaging in life. Okay, now that after we've got some commentary going on. So first, to answer my mother's question, where is my new joy mug? I was just with my mom for a week and she got me a mug and John has not washed it yet. And I'm not allowed to drink anything unless it's clean. So that's a joke. God. I mean, it's not a joke, but it's a joke. So it's currently being cleaned, and that is why. Now, let's see. Samantha says, do you want to read that since I'm talking a lot?
All right. Samantha, I know you don't know me, but I'll have something to say about this. She says, change is hard. It's one thing to deal with change that is not expected. It's an entirely different level of difficulty to change yourself in order to live your own truth. Or improve, not improv this time, to live the way that allows you to live a life that's true to who you are. Okay. Are you ready? This is my response. This is my truth. And hopefully you'll still love me. And if you don't, that's okay. Change is not hard. Unless you decide so. And so in your script, Samantha, you just wrote your script and you just put into the universe difficult, hard, difficult, entirely different level of difficulty. Levels of difficulty you just created for your world. And so what we know is that the subconscious mind, if you think of it, as our friend Denise likes to call it, I love this metaphor or this visual of like, it's like a copy machine, like a fax machine, right? And every thought you have, and when you put them out into existence, I would invite you actually to delete the comment that you just made there. There's a reason why. And I say that with all the love in my heart, because you just declared to the world, infinite worlds, that for you, change is hard, it's difficult, there's levels of difficulty in order to get to living a life you love. So you just put those words on the photocopy machine and you told your subconscious, 1,000 copies, please, 1,000 copies, please, 1,000 copies, please. And you putting that out into the world. Worlds, infinite worlds, the multiverse. If you change those words and you instead, what could you create? I don't want to put the words in your mouth, but what could you create instead? How could you revise that entire statement so that what you're left with is that you live the life that you love? That's my challenge to you, Samantha. This is the
change
power.
Is fun. Change is fun. It's adventurous.
Yeah, it's only difficult if we say it's difficult. And mostly we say it's difficult because other people say it's difficult. And then you get all this buy-in and then you're surrounded by a world of people who say, oh, everything's so difficult. I'll never get to live the life I love, right? And then you have all this agreement around you because you attract all the people who believe the same thing, but there's a whole world of people who don't believe that at all, and who would support you in your other version of what you're creating. So you can rewrite that script and put something out, declare something that you really do love into the world, into the universe.
I love that. And interestingly enough, this morning when I was walking, I was, I'm not keep plugging my stand up, but I'm doing it. I'm doing
Please
another
do.
night. Yeah, next week. And so I
Yeah.
was just thinking about some stuff, and I was remembering like how I used to swim around in like the woe is me soup, right? Like, oh, woe is like, and it was like this
No soup for you.
just like, huh?
No soup for you.
No super real. I was like, oh, woe is me. And like everybody's there with me. And all the people that used to join in the woe is me soup, right? And it's like what you're saying. Like I would find like I had a whole whirlpool of those people with me, and everyone was complaining. And then it was like, all right, like this soup doesn't feel so good anymore. So like, and changed over. And I think
Soup.
and it displaced what?
I said poop soup.
I wrote that down somewhere else, but I was like, maybe woe is me is better than poop soup. But I said about like stepping out and you're just covered in poop. But yeah, so maybe now I'm in a bowl of matzo ball soup. I don't know, but there's people that want to join you there. So I think it's basically the long way of saying that's what you're saying to Samantha.
No, yeah, and Denise made a comment. She said it the short way. Change is hard only if you say so. I just elaborated on that same thing, but it's and this is
the show would be too short if we just spoke in that little. We'd have nothing to say, so we got to extend time.
We have to fill the time here, right? But I'm very passionate about this because, like you, I've spent versions of me, not this guy, but some other versions of me, spent a lot of time in poop soup.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what humans do. God bless their souls, right? Humans want to have agreement. You want to feel like people agree with you and like you or understand you. And so it's a matter of what do you want them to agree with? What beliefs and views about your life do you hold? Because whatever you put out there, it's like flies to the right. You're going to attract it. Flies do have a very important function in the world, right? They're not worse than or bad compared to other things, but it's just what do you want in your life, and speak that into existence. Because whatever we think, whatever we say, whatever we write, is that photocopy machine.
And what? Oh, we have a new comment.
There's a funny comment there that I don't know if that's for us to discuss. I don't know. Anyways, so
it says I have an option. Put user in timeout.
Put user in timeout.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll say block user instead.
Okay. Oh, good. That worked. We haven't had to do that's woohoo. We're on to something here.
So I know. I'm like, so what are we creating, right? Conscious creator. So all of these people though that we talk about, like if everybody is, not if, but everybody is pushed out, and if we want this change, or if we don't, like we get to, like, what's really fun, it's like this blank canvas and we get to create whatever it is that we want and the experience that we want in life and how we want to show up for it and who we want in it. Exactly what you said before about the star being the star of our show and the co-stars and all of that. And I think that when we remember that, there's so much more play involved in that. There's so much more fun involved in that, because I know even for you lately, while you've been exploring the world and you're currently exploring Porto right now, like even you have been finding more of the fun and the comedic moments in your life, like with your head buds, your head buds, right? Your head buds, are they called that?
Earbuds. Yeah, that's a good point, because
I get paid for the good points.
You get paid for the good points. That's why you get paid the big bucks. what so the short version is, the other day I was hanging out, I was meditating. You can't see it, but I'll show the window. There's a window right there. That window right there. I had been meditating in the morning, and I had my earbuds in, listening to my beautiful, music. And I opened the window. It was rainy that morning, and I wanted to feel the cool air, rush onto my face. I was having a moment, and I opened it, and I leaned out of the window, because there's no screen on these windows. And the earbud fell out of my ear. I'm on the second floor here, so it's up, bounced onto the sidewalk, and I watched it all like in slow motion. And then it bounced onto the car hood, and then off the car hood, across the street, through oncoming traffic. I was like, what? I'm in my underwear. I'm not dressed quite, I wasn't ready just to dash out. So
that would have been comedy.
It came within inches of potentially being hit by any car that was coming by. And what did I do? I laughed. And because it was pretty freaking hilarious. But there was a little like moment of like my earbud. But I know that in some other timeline, some other dimension, that guy would have been very upset, like, oh my God, and panicked, and would have been a whole drama.
Like this old woman. Oh yeah. Dear.
Exactly.
Like.
Oh, my earbuds. So but I was so pleased to see that my reaction was laughter. And if it got smashed, it got smashed. We'll buy another one. But it didn't get smashed. And it was just a whole moment of just hilarity. And I thought, wow, this is such a better way to live than, catastrophizing all the what ifs, running down in a panic. And then who knows, getting hit by a car because I was so upset and not looking, right? All the other variations of what could have happened because I wasn't being conscious and aware, which is what we're talking about, right? When we're aware, when we're conscious of what we're doing, then we make different choices. And you can just find, the humor in it instead.
Well, honestly, like at the end of the day, let's just worst case scenario, like you have to buy like new earbuds, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay. And I know that for some people it could be like, it sucks, but what we put into after that happens is not going to change the bottom line that we have to buy earbuds, right? Like if they're ruined. So it's either like laugh about it and make jokes about it, or it's like, gosh darn it, why, and the whole like woe is me poop soup, like, and that's the way, like, I just feel like the choices that we get to make and how we show up for this life, and
yes.
and the perspective.
Yes.
Right.
Well, so as you just said that, I was thinking, and the thoughts that just this very silly thing that happened, right? I can say this, talk about this as a silly thing that happened.
We get a question.
Did I go? No, I did put my shorts on, and then went downstairs. But I would have. It was just a little chilly, so I decided I put my sweats on. I think that's what I did.
We want video next time, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I know like other options, not for me currently, of how to respond would have put me in saying things like, oh, it figures if it's not one thing, it's another. Why does this always happen to me? That's my luck. Those kinds of things. Then again, it's the copy. 1,000 copies, 1,000 copies. You're just putting out, oh, the universe says, consciousness says, oh, that's your luck. Let's give you some more examples of that. And then you just get into this seemingly eternal loop of proof that you have bad luck, or that you got the short end of the stick, or you got a bad hand of cards, or all the phrases that you hear people talk about, right? And so you get to decide, like, now I'm going to create something different. I'm going to write a new script right now. There's no waiting. Why would you wait? You just start doing it now.
And that is the unplugging. Like the programming, the regularly scheduled programming would be, oh, why did this happen? These kind of things always happen to me. And if that is the place you continue to find yourself, like that's what I feel is like the unplugging from that repetitive thing, from the quarter in the, putting another nickel in the, in the, I always was like, when something gets stuck, I always love that thing when someone's like on repeat and it's like, oh, who put the nickel in you? And they're just going and going and going, like nickels, very old school, but that's what it feels like. And it's almost like the programming is so deep that a lot of people don't realize that they're doing it. And so becoming more consciously aware of it, that's how you can change. You can unplug. And that's why I was asking that question before, right? What does this new version of you look like? What is a reprogrammed version of you? What does a conscious and awake and aware version of you look and sound like? And what are they thinking? And what are they doing? And are you that person? And if not, what can you do? What different choices can you make? My mom and I were actually having this conversation, just in about, because when you go back and like you see people from your past. I mean, and what I mean by past is just people that you don't see every day, and how you used to be different versions of yourself. And it was very like, you get to see how it is, like how you're formed or what it is, and just being able to pull out of it. And so that's the conversations that we were having. It was like, it doesn't have to be this way. We don't have to talk about this. We can choose differently, but sometimes we can get into that programming and we don't realize it. So today, I think if anything, when you walk away from the show today, is really about knowing that you get to change moment to moment.
Yeah, because it's every moment. It's like a new version of us is showing up, right? So, and we get to choose. If you don't like the choices you've made, if you something isn't working for you, then you're not stuck with it. You choose again. And that's such a simple, not even a concept, just a truth, right? It's choose again, choose again, choose again. And when you really know that, that's like how empowering is that, versus being stuck in the results, or they being at the effect of the stuff that you're blaming everyone else for.
Yeah.
That's one way to live. Like, I don't know why you'd want to, but that's what a lot of people do. Or you choose again. And maybe there's this, in this crossover period.
Yep.
Right? Because when you start to be very in charge of your life, when you're, as you were saying, conscious of your choices, the people who are no longer aligned with that will fall away. And those who are aligned with that, you will start to become aligned with. And there can be this in-between space. And that's, where you just get to keep choosing again, and choosing to stick to what is that vision you have for who you are. Like the vision, the version of you that already exists and is already living that life that you say that you want. There's already a version of you doing that, right? And this is what Shari and I have been doing is we're living into that version of us who is already doing all the things that we've been wanting to do in some other version, but never quite could get there in that form of us. So that this is the quantum leap, right? And how do you do it? You just do it.
Yes. So two things. Number one that came to my mind, I just have to say it because it won't go away. I'm like, go away. You get to choose. And you get to choose. You get to choose, Oprah. Okay. Yes. Everybody gets a choice. Okay. Now I got that out of my head now.
That was very funny. I didn't know what you were doing at first, but now I do. That was very funny.
Yeah, like 5 minutes ago it was, but I didn't want to interrupt you. But thank you. Thank you very much.
She's here all night, folks.
Yeah. And then other people. So I had this conversation again this past week, which was about like visualization and really being able to tap into that. And as you're saying, like you just do it. Some people think like that they don't have that. And I used to back in the day, back in another timeline, many, many timelines ago, used to think that I didn't have the power to visualize, until I realized that we visualize every day. Just like think about like childhood though, like right? Like when we would just like play make believe, you know, we'd have like the forts and the secret knocks and we would be part, or like, you know, going to the playground and, you know, you're at the jungle gym and like pirates and you go, like we did it all of the time. And as someone who's an actress, it's funny how, you know, we could do it like that, but then when it comes to our own life, so if you're sitting there going, well, how do I create this best version of myself? I'm like, be a kid again, right? Like imagine what your best you looks like and show up every day doing the exact things that they would do and how they think and what choices they would make in those moments. And when you continue to do that, then all of the things and the people and the circumstances and all that stuff will start to reflect all of who you are, right?
Totally. And that's what you were saying earlier about play, like the play in it, right? And
yeah,
you know, when we hear this it's making me think of a word we hear a lot. Actually more, I don't know, for me, more recently, I'm hearing people talking about adulting, right?
yeah.
And what
Adulting is hard.
adulting is hard. Yes, you hear this, right? Exactly. It's always hard. It's never like adulting is amazing. You know, it's negative.
I get to eat ice cream for breakfast. It's fun.
In my underwear. But it's so if you that sort of implies that you've lost the playfulness of childhood, and we, you know, that kind of gets and for a lot of people, especially like in school, the higher you go in your grades and the older you get in terms of, you know, your age, right? That didn't make any sense. The older you get and the more you progress through school.
Older with age? What?
Older with age. We get younger with age, actually, but that's a different story. So it's a true thing, though. People keep telling me, you look younger. I'm like, okay, I do. Thanks. So
I just want to carry ring lights around with me in person.
amber lighting, yes. We lose that connection to play. And then the older you get, the more silly it seems, right? You're not allowed to play anymore. You can't be creative. And the way the kids are, the way you were just saying. And but who said that's true? And that's a great way to access visualization. That's a totally great suggestion you just made, is just imagine like you're 5 years old again and tune into that. You have your 5-year-old version of you right there. So just tap into that little guy or girl and person and put yourself there. And what do you see? You know, that question we get asked very early in life. What do you want to be when you grow up? Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, you know, an astronaut, a cowboy, like who says you still can't, like, let's be playful and expansive. And like this, you know, there is no limit. The sky isn't even the limit. There is no limit to what little kids dream up. And that
anyone can be an astronaut now too. See? So if you said that as a kid, you can now go up in space.
You can, exactly.
So your dreams came true. Like, look how powerful you are. You just need more money, but you could do that too.
You can do that too. Exactly. So what else does unplugged mean?
When I think about unplugged, I think about doing or what's unexpected. I don't know. Like, and I think it all just like continues to go back to that same programming. Mom says, Lark says, I'm still trying to figure that out. Which one? What are you trying to figure out? What Rich looks like in his underwear getting earbuds? What are you trying to figure out?
Going to the moon.
Oh, going to the moon. Oh, maybe the getting the money part. No, my mom is probably getting the money part.
Well, you just need to friend Sir Richard Branson on LinkedIn, and then just comment on his posts. He actually personally comments on his posts.
Oh, does he? She says all of it. Well, don't worry about the money part, Mom. My television show is about to be released in the fall, so don't worry. You'll be getting your car.
And you're headlining the comedy show soon. Like that's right there. Mom's taken care of.
Yeah, Mom, you're definitely taken care of. So no worries there.
You want a window or an aisle seat?
What do you say?
Does she want a window or aisle seat on that rocket to the moon?
Probably an aisle for the bathroom.
That's so me. Yes.
Well, no, but it's a big dilemma for me though too, because I'm like, I was always a window, and the older that I get, I'm like, I don't know, I might need to go the aisle now for the 10 times I need to. Yesterday, I was like texting John from the plane, like, and I was like, I already got to go to the bathroom, and he was like, well, ask the guy, and I'm like, he just sat down with his drink, so I was just there, and I'm like, oh boy, we got to work on this bladder business.
Oh, that is very funny.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to do some revision on the bladder.
Yep, revising the bladder.
Revising the bladder. Yes.
So for those of you exactly. For those of you who are watching, when you let's continue this conversation with you just about the unplugged, and we've been talking a lot today about what this future version of you looks like, and maybe you're stuck in this older, what you feel is stuck, because we're never stuck. We just have this idea that we're stuck, and if we continue to have the idea that we're stuck, then we're going to be stuck. So in this expansive version of you, the one who knows that everything is possible, what does your unplugged version of you look like? What does your freedom look like? What does your real you look like? Put it in the comments, because the more that you are able to see it, share it, describe it, feel it, be it, the more that you will walk in it.
Well, Dr. Margaret Evanow did this a little earlier. I'll read what she said.
Yes.
She's always ahead of the question. Trust me. She is the world's premier quantum psychologist. So she's in multiple timelines at once and aware. Sorry about the sirens.
They're coming to take you away. Haha, they're coming to take you away. Okay.
Hope they're cute. Okay, so she said, I am unlimited in all ways and would only play. And we were just talking about play. Work would be fun and playful. I would create a world of loving, conscious connections. And the only thing I would say, and that's awesome, the only thing I would say to that is just to bring it into the present tense, right? Just like you started, I am unlimited in all ways and I only play. Work is fun and playful. I create a world of loving, conscious connections. Right. So the woulds are would, could, shoulds. And so we can just eliminate that and put it right into the present tense as if. And that's one of the fastest ways to move yourself from what you would hope is your life to it is your life, because you're telling that to your subconscious, right? So, and I know Dr. Margaret knows this. So that's a great example of just changing a few words takes you from hoping, praying, wishing to its reality. And the more you tell that to your subconscious, the more that is the reality. And then it starts to align, like you were saying, Shari. Work is playful. I am playful. I create, my world is loving, conscious connections. Then you're sending out that energy to go get that.
Denise says she'd get rid of the word unlimited because it's a mind trap. Things that make you go, I want to like sit with that. You can please expand on that, Denise, if you would, just from your
I'll take a crack at what I think she means.
Yeah.
I think. So just using the word unlimited implies limitation.
Right.
So you're living on some level in a world of limitation if you have to say that it's unlimited. So you would just get rid of it. And then there's that whole piece is gone. Still
has limited in it.
Ta-da!
You get a prize.
You get a star.
What a good student. Guess what you're going to get? You're going to get some bubbles.
Oh, it's bubble time. It's bubble time. You know what I've been doing?
Oh, bubble in the coffee. Well, that's going to be tasty.
I've been secretly blowing bubbles out the window. So I kind of stand back a little so they can't see me. But I'm having so much fun blowing bubbles out onto the traffic pole. Like, where are these bubbles coming from?
Denise, I was going to give grasshoppers a whole new sound because as I just read that, I was about to go rivet, rivet. And then I'm like, oh no, that's not a grasshopper.
How do grasshoppers?
Okay. They don't rivet.
My grasshoppers are so, I didn't see that. Okay.
I saw
Yes,
goats, by the way.
fast
I
on.
saw goats yesterday. I was very exciting. My mom has goats by her house, her apartment building, and I started an all-out brawl between two goats. I thought that was very exciting. I'm like, look at
With the
me bringing
bubbles?
out the no bubbles. I was just trying to feed one, which probably I
Oh,
wasn't. And the other one came up, the more aggressive one, and then the one like horned them or whatever. And I was like, guys, there's enough of me to go around here. All right, well, you don't have to fight over me. Anyway, good times. Good times.
good times. Good times with the
Is there
goats.
anything more you want to expand or say on this topic of unplugged before we unplug?
Are you asking me or the people?
No, well, you or the people, or the people.
The people. The
People.
people. True, it
Any
already
last
is.
thoughts? I was talking to you.
Oh, you're talking to me now. I don't know. I'm looking at the comments.
I already
Well,
yeah.
I think, just going back to, I think Dr. Margaret was making comment much earlier. She was saying, unplugging from what? Phones, people, activities. So just picking up on that a whole different way of looking at unplugged, and that's basically what I did over the weekend, was just unplugging from the doingness and allowing myself just to be. And so I think that's just a great thing, when you're realizing that it appears that the flow isn't flowing, then you get to choose again, right? And you get to decide to change the energy. And so literally, I got up, I was sitting here, I closed the computer. I was like, that's it. I'm done. And I walked out there. I'm very close to the beautiful bridge that crosses over to Porto from this neighborhood. And it just happened to be the sunset time. And I got to take in one of the most stunning. I've seen a lot of beautiful sunsets recently, right? But this was truly phenomenal because fog was rolling in. That was unusual, I was told, for that time of day and for this time of year. And it just created this spectacular visual. And I would have missed it. And it just being out there and seeing that beauty changed my mood and my energy. And I just felt this like release, like, nothing is this important. Nothing's more important than seeing this right now. But if I hadn't gotten up physically and unplugged from the computer and the trying and the efforting, I would have missed that. And wouldn't even known it was happening. And it was just around the corner that was happening, right? So, for all of you out there, just know that you have the power to change how things are going. And that just around the corner, if not even closer, something spectacular is happening. And you get to choose again and go see that, because it's right there. It's everything we need is right here. It's all around us. And like Shari has said this whole time, it's a matter of, are we being conscious or aware of all the beauty that we've actually been creating in our lives?
I wrote always happening, always flowing, just because I just wrote it because, as you were saying, like, just being in the flow and when you're not in the flow, I'm like, the flow came as like the flow is always happening. It's always there. It's just, are we aligned? Are we in it? The stream is always flowing. Yeah. Right. And it's just, are we awake enough and are we aligned?
Well, and here's so there's a version of us that doesn't know anything but flow.
Right.
There's no idea that there is no flow. Right. Are we in that version? That's how you know you're not in that version, is when we're like, I'm not that, and there's nothing wrong. You just get to say, choose again, right? And plug back into that version who only knows flow.
Or you are flow, or we are flow. We are the stream. Yeah. We are the stream. Yeah. Exactly. And that's such a powerful way to look at it, I think, is when we feel that resistance, when something feels stuck, when something feels like it's too hard, or, the change is hard, then all that is just the awareness that we are not in our flow. And so it's not about, as you said, making it wrong. It's just about aligning back with it.
Yeah, it's the awareness. I'm like, oh, I get to choose.
You get a choice, and you get a choice.
You get a choice.
Yes, Ted said, "Good things are afoot."
They are.
Good things are always afoot. I only hesitated because there was this version of me that wanted to pick my foot up, and then I thought,
I was just gonna do that. Oh,
and I was like, that's probably a bit much. Probably don't need to do that. But I did. We did.
I totally was just about to do that.
We both had that inner dialogue. I was like, maybe not today. We'll do another show where maybe it's just all about feet.
Look, I turned so red just from saying
that. Stay tuned. It's going to be smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision, right. You never know what you're going to get on this show.
That's what happens in
underwear. Truth be told, I don't care who's watching. I am sitting in my underwear right now.
Well, truth be told, I just want you to zoom the camera down. Ted says we still haven't seen Declan's new shoes. Just saying. All right, and I bet you were in the flow when those are really cool. And I bet you were in the flow when you found those.
Yes. And
they were all along, weren't they?
They were, it was such a cool thing. Yeah, the way it all unfolded. the shoes,
oh,
boxers or briefs.
This is how you know.
I wear more like trunks, I guess they're called, or mini short briefs. I don't wear boxers that are loose, or briefs that are like panties.
We're going totally unplugged today, guys. We're talking about Rich's underwear.
Rich's underwear, yes.
We're showing feet. We went from deep conversation to.
It's all the same, right? It's no levels. It's just us.
We hope that y'all are if you had a good time today, please make sure that you share this. Like I said, I'm certain that there's something here that did something for you.
If nothing else, we hope you laughed.
Why don't you let everybody know where they can connect with you? And let's tell, because we don't talk about it very often. Share briefly about what it is, how you help people, what it is that you do.
Yeah. So what I do, how I work with my clients is, first of all, the clients I work with are quantum entrepreneurs, and I show them how to use the power of video, just like we're doing right now, whether it's creating short videos, live videos, or your own show, just like this. How do you do this? How do you create a show like this? Even though it is unplugged and was put together, in an instant, it happened because there are certain steps that needed to still be thought about and put together in order to do what we're doing here, right? And so I show people who really want to harness the power of being visible and increasing your authority through the program that I have called the Authority and Visibility Accelerator. And I also work with people on a private level as well with transformation-based coaching and consulting. I'm also a consultant with a company that works at the CEO level. So entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, CEOs, whatever the case, those are the people that I support to get your message out, to broadcast your brilliance. And right now, the best way that you can follow me is on Facebook or LinkedIn. Rich Oseguera, either way, is where you can get a hold of me.
Awesome. Well, people who want to be on camera, Margaret already agrees that you rock. Ted thinks you rule. You're a rock and a ruler, a roller and a rocker. And in case you don't know a little bit about me or want to know a little bit about me, I do
I want to know about you. How do you support people to be in their awesomeness?
Well, first I just show up as me, which I think, but no, what I mean by that is I think that I help people give permission to themselves to be all of them. And the ways that I do that is that I empower people how to take their message, their product, their service, and get it out in really big ways. So currently I'm doing media consulting. So if you've ever wanted to be on television, and I mean like mainstream television, and share yourself, please reach out, reach out to me. I will be on this Friday on Good Day Rochester. So you'll see more about that. And then of course, you know, I'm hitting the stand-up comedy stages these days, putting together a television show. If you are in the LA area, actually, come and see me live next Wednesday night at the Federal in North Hollywood on October 19th. I'll put the link in the comments. Most importantly, or not most importantly, but importantly, we are here to support you in whatever ways that you need. Who?
Shoot. And well, I'm gonna do something.
Okay.
So for all you who find us amusing, Shari and I are creating. It's in the works right now. It's soon to be released. A new show. The working title.
We're taking it international.
We're taking it. It's definitely international. The working title right now is called Scampering, and it'll be us journeying through different cities and interviewing people and finding out about the cultures. And obviously, I'll be in my underwear and we'll show you our feet. It's going to be funny. It's going to be heartwarming. It's going to really open your eyes to people, places, cultures through our eyes and how we see the world, and to be able to share that with you. So coming soon,
and you'll get to be a part of it, not only from just being a viewer of it, but there will be opportunities and ways for you to pick and choose where you want us to go, and all the good fun stuff. So stay tuned.
Very interactive.
Yes. All right, so now with that said, I think we are going to unplug here, and our wish for all of you is that today you show up as your best you, and really step in play today, right? Like reimagine, visualize, and show up as you.
Yeah. Or, go get some bubbles. They're super cheap. And that's a good way to start.
And be sure to tune in next Wednesday for another episode of Thanks for Nothing. Our other co-host will be joining us, and who knows? I haven't run it by them, but maybe it'll be the three of us. Maybe who knows? Thank you all so much for joining us today. If this inspired you in any way or just made you laugh, make sure that you go and share it with your friends, and hit the like button, hit the love button, send us some love, get your bubbles. Okay, I'm done. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.